Hi, I'm Nick and I'm taking you behind the future.
Welcome to Behind the Future. I'm your host Becky Sims and I have my wonderful co-host Bella back with me today. Hi Bella.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a Year 12 student studying business, media and psychology at Maidstone Grammar School for Girls.
Fantastic. And a little birdie tells me you want to get into digital marketing.
Yes, 100%, absolutely love it.
So you are in the right place. We've got lots we're going to learn. And we have a fabulous guest with us today, the wonderful Nick or Nicola. Nick, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, thanks so much for having me on. So my name's Nicola Joyce. I am a freelance copywriter. I've been freelance since 2004, if you can believe it. And I specialise in writing specifically for fitnesses and brands in the fitness sector.
Fantastic. Yeah. Brilliant. Well, kick us off.
Well, what got you interested in copywriting and things like that? Like, have you always had an interest? Has that always been your plan? Or
Definitely hasn't always been my plan because I didn't know it existed, but I've definitely always been interested in writing. Like I was literally that cliche as a kid, writing like poetry and short stories and cringe things like that. So I always loved writing, and I did do English at school. I did English, obviously GCSE, A-level, and then I went and did English as a degree, and I did a master's in, I think it was called like contemporary literary studies or something, so kind of the study of texts. So I was always on that path, but I didn't know copywriting was a thing. What I wanted to be was a journalist, like a magazine journalist. Like I loved magazines. I don't really know if they're still a thing so much these days,
Not
but
as
like
much, are they?
Yeah, back in the day, yeah, exactly the same. So that's what I really wanted to do, and so I left uni and went to work in London, like again, as you do. And I didn't work in copywriting, but what I did work in, it was called conference production. It's kind of event management or project management for conferences. And a big part of that was what I now know is copywriting. It was like researching a topic, pulling out the key ideas, building on those, producing assets. So it's copywriting, right?
Yeah.
And we did email marketing and we wrote a bit of web. I mean, this was back in the early 2000s, bear in mind. Then I got made redundant, and this is big tangent here, but this is part of why I'm as niche as I am. I was about to swim the English Channel at the time.
Wow.
Plot twist. But what I thought was, because I was redundant and I was moving out of London, all these changes, I thought to myself, well, I've always wanted to write for magazines. If I can't get a first-person feature in a magazine about swimming the English Channel, then, you know, I don't know anything about pitching. Do you know what I mean? I'm no good. And I now did, and it went from there. So I started out as a journalist, a magazine journalist, and then after a few years I realised that the money isn't there really, and also it's not strategic enough. It's great, like writing for magazines is really creative and I did enjoy it, but it's not strategic, and you don't kind of see like the back end numbers of working with a client and all the things you do here.
A little bit, it was just all the kind of similar things, would you say?
Yeah, exactly. So after not that long, I kind of, not really a pivot, but I moved sideways into copywriting, mostly for local clients, and then before too long realised that fitness was my niche, and that's kind of, long story short, yeah. So no, it wasn't the plan, but it was always kind of the general route I wanted to go down.
Yeah, as soon as you found it was a thing, you thought, oh, you know what, this is what I'd like to
do.
Oh,
as soon as I realised what it was, and that I'd kind of been doing it anyway, sort of, and I realised that it was like the combination of all the things I love, the creativity of writing, but the strategy of working with a client, and the commercial side of getting a result from your writing. I was like, yes, this is what I want to do.
Love that.
Yeah, it's amazing. You said you were straight into university, is that right? Or you did a degree in that?
Yeah, I did the sort of typical route, I suppose, A-levels.
Were you always planned to go to university? Did you consider other options?
No, I mean, back then, bear in mind this was 1995, right, that I went to uni, and maybe it's the background I'm from, you know, my parents had been to uni, it was kind of modelled for me. That was just, and I'm very academic, like I love studying. So no, it was always the option, because I didn't really know there were other options. Maybe if there'd been others, you know, maybe if someone I knew worked in an agency in London and said at 16 I could go, maybe I would have done, but no, that was the route, and I'm really glad. I loved it. I loved uni and I loved studying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I've got a really unanswered question that's maybe not too relevant, but you swam the English Channel?
I did,
twice. Not on the same day, I hope.
No, 4 years apart.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
so
I've got quite a varied sport background, which isn't necessarily crucial to what I do, but I do think it helps. Like if you've got a niche, I do think it helps to be able to like walk the talk and talk with clients like in their own language kind of thing.
Yeah. What drove you to swim the Channel? Was it for charity or?
No, you don't really do it for charity. Well, maybe you do. I don't know. I think it's another long story, really. I grew up in Folkestone. I mean, I don't know. You see the sea every day. Like, I literally used to walk to school along the sea. That's not really a good answer, is it? Like, plenty of my school friends did not swim the channel. I was a swimmer as a kid. Like, I am very sporty, and that was my first sport. But why? I don't know. I must have got the idea in my head from somewhere.
Just an incredible
I didn't just do
challenge to
it.
do.
You know, I didn't just go, oh, let's go. Obviously, it was, you know, a couple of years of training, and it's a lot. It's a big thing.
Big thing.
Yeah.
Wow. But that also tells us something about you and your endurance and your focus on a task
Tenacity,
to get things
I think
done.
so. Yeah, I think so. And certainly I used to be, maybe not so much as I've got older, but I used to be very like, get an idea in my mind and just do it.
Yeah.
Not in a really like bullish way, but just like, it's done. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Not in an arrogant way, but just like, well, that's what I want to do. So
why wouldn't I?
That's going to happen then.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that. But also what you're showing is that you can mix something that you're passionate about with work. So the fact that you've been able to craft your niche out of something that you do have time for in your personal life, enjoy, and has been part of your journey as you. So I always think people don't always realise that. They think, oh, if I like football, I've got to be a footballer. It's like, well, you don't have to be the footballer. Like, that's
absolutely,
not... There's the business of sport, for example, is huge.
Of
the amount of
You
people
don't have to be like a personal trainer, things like that. You go into any of it. So
Exactly
it's quite interesting to see how you've
there's
taken
so many jobs around a passion or an interest. And arguably so many jobs around it that are more lucrative than being maybe not being the footballer, but being the personal trainer. Yeah,
definitely. And I think, but it's that I always think you've got to love what you do, and actually if it can be something that's already there's a bubbling passion for, it's just going to make you love it even more.
Yeah, I agree, especially when you're self-employed, because it is hard. You know, I've been self-employed for 22 years now.
Wow.
But, you know, it's kind of different. I've done different things, I suppose, in that time. Just naturally, you know, the sector has changed and how we deliver things to clients has changed. So, but yeah, you've got to love it in some way. You've got to have at least a small bit of love for it. Otherwise, on the hard times, you would just give up and go and try and get a job, you know, for someone else, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely. And I think from reading your notes, you don't class yourself fully as being like in the digital sector, because you see yourself as a copywriter. But obviously, I'm guessing a lot of the copy you write, the medium it goes out is digital these days.
Almost all, yeah.
Almost all. So have you seen... Has that affected how you write copy? Because do you find yourself now sometimes you're writing copy that's going to go in a more social led place versus going to be something that's more long form or...
I suppose so. If I think back to when I started, well, obviously I started as a journalist, like I told you, so that was all for print. And then when I started out as a copywriter, I definitely remember my first job was a brochure, like literally a print brochure that was going to be put through people's doors. So over the years, yes, of course, it's changed from print things to websites. I do a lot of email marketing, so a lot of email. I do some social stuff, not so much. But like in the last 5 years, I can think of one thing that I've done that was classic print, and that's a poster that's on a road, you know, a billboard on a road in Canterbury. I suppose I do a lot of pack copy, so a lot of labels and boxes on things that you might see in Holland and Barrett. But no, most of it is web, email. So naturally, you're less sort of less hampered by word count, I suppose, to an extent. It just changes, doesn't it?
Yeah, and different, like email's different, isn't it? In the email, you're trying to get someone to take action,
trying to get
usually.
them to open it
like,
first.
The subject. I mean, actually, for someone that's never thought about it, that just receives lots of emails, as we all get a lot of emails, that subject line is everything.
Oh, of course it is, and it's an interesting thing, actually, for anyone who wants to be a copywriter, if they're going to be interested in doing email, is to have what's called a swipe file, which is literally it's not that you're stealing other people's work, you're keeping it for like reference, but so just swipe across, or just keep any email that you open, keep it, because you opened it for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So why did you open that one and not delete it? So anything you like or read, any website copy that you like, just save it in a folder.
Love that.
And that can be your little reference.
Love that.
Little reference
really
tool,
good,
little swipe file.
Yeah, I do that I have a lot of screenshots of random things that I like that are across all different things.
Exactly.
But you look through my phone
I'm sure
and you're
designers
like,
do
why has
it.
she got that?
Yeah.
I've got loads of things, 100%. I do things for spas, and I've got so many screenshots of just random things I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So it was the redundancy that led you to starting freelance?
Yeah, redundancy, and I was moving in with the man who was going to be my husband, now ex-husband. So, there were all a lot of things that happened. I moved out of London. It all kind of happened at the same time, and then the trigger of being able to swim the channel, which was a hook, right? Yeah. If those things hadn't have happened, I don't know what I would have done, because I still would have been made redundant.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's just always interesting, because I think there's been a lot of news recently about a lot of redundancies happening. The market's a bit challenging at the moment. But actually, I always think, like, you can't tell the person in the moment that it's happening, this will be the making of you. But actually, so often it leads to, and we've had many a conversation on here where people say, do you know what, if that hadn't happened, and it's always the case, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be where I am now, because you don't know what the other option was.
You don't know what the other option was. And by definition, the other option would have been staying where you were, right?
Yeah.
So by definition, a change or a loss or whatever leads to something. But it doesn't necessarily feel good at the time, does it?
No, it really doesn't. And you can't, that's not going to make anyone feel better telling them that.
But I do often think, gosh, if those things hadn't have happened, what would I be? Would I be living in London now, working in an agency, head of copy? I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. And what do you think, what's important to you about being freelance? Like, and how do you, because a lot of young people do think, actually, like, it's so much more an option these days than I think it used to be.
100%.
Like, anyone can just go and start their own little freelance business. So what do you think the most important things people should know about it that they might not know, that might be the shiny side of it they see on social?
I think it's just the kind of boring stuff, I suppose, about don't forget it is a business. And I mean that both from, obviously, your money and your accounts and your taxes, get all that in place. Don't sort of think, this is just a hobby. You would never think it was a hobby, but you know what I'm saying. Just because you're working for yourself, you might be at home working at your kitchen table. That doesn't mean that you're not employed and running a business. So have all of that in place. Have systems, that will make life easier for yourself, whether that's tracking your numbers or organising your marketing and outreach, whatever it is. Just have systems. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It doesn't have to be a tool that you pay for necessarily. And do think about outsourcing some stuff when you can, like accountant would be my accountant, and for me, web guys, I just things that I could do myself. I could do my tax returns myself. I could do my website myself, but I don't want to. I don't enjoy it. It would take me so long. What's the point,
Yeah, it takes a lot of time.
It takes a lot of time, so try and systemize things as much as you can, so you're not kind of erratically waking up every morning going, what am I doing today, Get organised.
100%, because I think, I know what you mean where you say it's not a hobby, you need to remember that. Not that, like you said, not anyone would, but it is that thing where it's like, you have to be committed. You can't just say, I'm really not feeling it today, because if you had a real job, it's not a real job, if you went into the office and were employed by someone, you've got to continue. You can't just say, no, I'm not feeling it today.
Exactly.
You've got to be on it, and you're your own boss. You've got to be on it yourself, and you're on yourself for it. I think that's really important that people need to remember.
I mean, even you could go to the extent of having like an annual review with yourself, or certainly with your own business. I mean, I am now a limited company, but that's quite new, so I haven't always been. But I do now have an annual review with my business, not necessarily with myself as a performance review, but I do look at my numbers. How many people have we reached out to? How many people have we worked with? Where has the money come from? What kind of projects? What type of clients? Because otherwise, you could do 10, 20 years self-employed and it could be fine. You could make enough money and be great, but you wouldn't really know what worked and what didn't.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, when especially thinking about winning new work, at the time that you're busy, you've got to remember that you've still got to be looking for the next project. Because so many people go, but I'm really busy right now, I'll wait till... But things don't happen overnight.
No.
So therefore, if you wait till you're not busy, you're then going to have potentially
at least a month
of no work.
Like, I can start this in a month, but then you're waiting that month. It's just you need to be on it constantly.
You have got to, because you're on your own. You are all the functions. You've got to be doing your marketing whilst also delivering the work, whilst also keeping the clients happy and thinking about the accounts and the money and.
That's why I say outsource at least some of it, right? Otherwise, if I had to do everything, if I literally had to do the things I outsource as well, I wouldn't have enough time. So, Yeah, it is a lot, but it comes back to your point that you asked me earlier about you've got to enjoy it, right? And it comes back to that because it is such a lot. Yes, you have got to do your marketing. Like I have a marketing email, obviously I do my socials, website updates and client work and outreach and client nurturing, all the things. You've got to enjoy it because imagine if you didn't fundamentally enjoy what you do and you were still having to do all of that.
Yeah. It's a lot to motivate yourself to do. Yeah, it's really hard. And how do you win work?
How do I win work? So I'm quite lucky, or well, not lucky, and I've made my own luck, I suppose, because I am so niche. I don't think I'm the only person doing what I'm doing, but I probably am one of very few who's got the track record I've got and been in the industry as long as I have, and who's got the backstory, right? Okay, swimming the channel, bodybuilding, all these things I've done. They don't make me a better copywriter, but they make me memorable, and they definitely make me me. So in terms of winning clients, a lot of it comes from reputation and from word of mouth and repeat clients and people. Like I do kind of know a lot of people in this sector. You know, if I go to a trade show or an industry show, I will just know a lot of people there. So that helps. I've got a website which does do quite well for me in terms of SEO. I do post on LinkedIn and Insta. I do have an email. I don't think my email does me any good, but I think it doesn't not do good. I think it kind of keeps me up there.
Keeps you in mind.
So I would say word of mouth, recommendations and general industry knowledge is the main one. And then probably my website the next. I do get quite a few emails through my website that are just random. You know, we Googled good fitness copywriter or whatever they're Googling. Yeah. I do always ask them as well. I always say, what Google term did you put in that led you to my website? That's good,
yeah.
It's good to know.
Good to know, really good to know. Yeah, and to understand different little kind of
what
how
they're
looking
actually
at it.
looking for. Yeah.
And do you do anything that's not in the fitness and wellness space now?
No, I mean, I would think about it if someone came to me, but also I'd be like, why do you want me to do it? I'm not, I haven't written about finance or education or whatever. I never have. So I can do it because I'm a good copywriter, but it would take me so long to research and kind of get up to speed. Whereas with someone in the fitness sector, I can be like, bam, I know what you're talking about immediately. Yeah. You know?
And do you find yourself working more with local businesses? Do you work with any of the kind of larger? Yeah, it's all the larger businesses.
Yeah, I mean, the one local one I was on about with the billboard in Canterbury, that's just a coincidence. It's just a personal training gym in Canterbury. No, they're all big, either global or
which is good as well, because I think again people don't always realise that you could run a freelance business and be working with the big brands. Like some people think, oh well, surely that's all just big agencies do that. But
I mean, I've probably got, I would have to run the numbers on this, but I've got a couple of big, I mean, I can name them, like Technogym, who are, they're the equipment provider to the Olympic Games and F1 and stuff like that. They're a client of mine, so they're obviously a big one. And then right down, you know, through sort of brands, supplement brands and healthy food brands that you'd know because they're in the shops, you know, down to, I do have some coaches. I have some PTs and online coaches who are, but they're not local.
Yeah, amazing.
Big range.
Amazing. I love the Technogym stuff. Wherever you go, it's always Technogym.
Yes.
And all the gyms.
Yes.
So you know it well.
All the gyms and like 5-star hotels and stuff.
Yeah, really nice.
Yeah, that brand is one of my gyms. Yeah, I was thinking about it.
Yeah. It's one of those brands anyone that goes to the gym will have, unless they've only ever been to one gym that doesn't have it, they'll know the brand, know what it looks like.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, incredible. Mm-hmm. And I guess you've probably seen a lot of change within the fitness and wellness space over the time you've been doing it. Because actually, some of the things that are just normal now just weren't really talked about before. And
well, wellness as a word, I don't think, I mean, obviously it was a word in the dictionary, but it didn't mean what it means, certainly in my bubble in the sector now. You know, wellness wasn't an industry, a multi-billion-dollar industry like it is now. And certainly trends come and gone and come round again.
Yeah. And there's so many angles to look at fitness, isn't there? Mm-hmm. Everything from women's health to, and that then unpacks tons of different things to, I don't know, there's just so many different stages of life.
And that's what I love about it as well. And that's what I love, the deeper you get and the more sort of I talk to people. Because I think if on the surface of it, if I say I'm a fitness copywriter, people think I write about the gym. Yeah. You know, I write articles about how to, what protein shakes to take, and it's not that, you know, fitness actually is, that's like the surface level, that's kind of the almost off-putting, I think, part of it, but actually if you dig underneath, it's how to get, you know, hard to reach populations engaged in fitness. It's how to make people live longer. It's ultimately, I explain, if people say, who do you write for? I say, well, if the end user of the service, the offer I'm writing for, is someone with a body, that is who I write for. Because that's what fitness is, right? Fitness, physical activity. It's just getting anybody with a body, no matter what size, shape, age that body is, fitter or healthier for as long as possible.
Yeah.
So if you think about it that way, it's really broad, right?
Yeah, and a great impact that you can have on people.
Yeah,
because
that's why I like it.
I do just think like we it's so easy to take your body for granted, but actually if we look after our bodies, it's really like we can't always choose what happens with our bodies.
They talk about age, health span now, not just age span, or not just lifespan, but health span. Because you can live that long. You can live that long, but you might only be healthy that long. What's this bit?
Yeah, that's interesting. I was on a cruise. I was on a cruise recently, and we were using the gym most days. And I loved, because actually I've got my own kind of, our garage is set up as a gym, so I actually don't go and work out with other people very often. But actually being on a cruise, and it was a real mix of age ranges there, but there were probably more older people. I loved seeing in the gym how many older people in their 70s, 80s were in there working out. And I was like, yes, this is brilliant.
That to me, I think, is more impressive, right? Because when you're, I mean, not necessarily, but, you know, kind of when you're in your 20s, especially if you're a male, because your hormones are optimised for being fit and healthy and muscular, you know, good for you. Still, of course, there's barriers, but not as many, let's face it, as when you're an 82-year-old woman with poor health, or someone from a poorer background, or less educated about your body or whatever, because there's, you know, all of those barriers. So when you see someone like that, it's like,
well, and also when I think back to what my grandparents would never have gone to a gym. Like, it just, gyms weren't as common.
They weren't a thing, no.
And it just wasn't, like, physical health was something for younger people,
it's
really.
Quite a young industry, actually, fitness, if you think about it. It's probably, I mean, I don't know, I probably should know, but the 80s? Like, when it was an actual monetised industry, like gyms and workout videos and things like that. It's really quite young. If you think about it.
But it's just so important for everyone, I think.
Massively.
100%. I think you could, that's why I'm assuming you work with clients of all ages and things like, or target at least, because you just have such a broad target audience for it.
Exactly that,
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
Staring at a blank screen, trying to figure out what happens after school or college, university, apprenticeships, T-levels, it's a lot to take in. But what if you could speak directly to the people who are actually hiring? NAS Events brings you events like the National Apprenticeship Show, London School and College Leavers Show, and many more. They run the UK's top career events designed specifically for students aged 15 and up. These aren't just your boring careers fairs, we're talking interactive hands-on experiences where you can meet the country's biggest employers and top universities face to face. Whether you're looking for an entry-level role, a degree apprenticeship, or a pathway into higher education, this is a regional show near you. From London and Bristol to Scotland and Newcastle. The best part, it's completely free to attend. Don't just scroll through job descriptions, come and try out new skills, get expert advice, and find career paths that actually fit you. Ready to take the next step? Head over to nasevents.co.uk to find the nearest event and register for your free place today.
And I guess it's funny, isn't it? So you didn't know copywriting was a job, and you've now forged a whole career of it, get paid to do it, run your own business doing it, and there's longevity in it. I mean, where do you see, I'm sure AI, you thought that might come up, but obviously a lot of people think, but is AI going to take this all away? How are you broaching that? Have you been in any interesting conversations with clients talking about it? What's your viewpoint?
So how long has AI been a thing in copywriting? It seems to me it's only really been an impact for maybe 2 or 3 years. I know it's been around a lot longer. You can edit that bit out. But even in those 2 to 3 years, the pendulum has swung back round. So initially it was this big fear, it's going to take our jobs, especially I think, not so much for me because I work more collaboratively with clients. I work almost more as a kind of strategic partner in a sense, and I'm writing things that I don't think AI could write, you know, strategic sales copy, right?
Yeah.
But I think if you were a copywriter who wrote blogs and social media content, I think the fear would be legitimate, because that is the sort of thing, rightly or wrongly, that a client might just chuck through AI. They still shouldn't be, but, you know. So if you're a content writer, I think the fear is probably more there. So that was there initially. Then, of course, there was all the, you know, conversation on LinkedIn from the copywriters. They can't write like a human, but still, it didn't matter because clients were still using it. So it doesn't matter what we thought, it was happening. But honestly, in the last 6 months, the pendulum has swung right back round, to the extent that I've got a client who I've been working with for a long time, more than 10 years. They've got 4 businesses now, 4 fitness businesses, kind of equipment, different equipment, for different segments. And they had been using AI for some of their blogs. And I knew this. And just a couple of weeks ago, they said to me, our whole SEO is down and we've run a report. And it's because, I mean, they were very silly. They'd literally been using AI blogs. They hadn't even been editing them.
Oh dear.
Unsurprisingly, Google didn't like that, and it had marked down their whole website. Just everything was performing really badly. So they have now given me the job and the work of editing and reworking. And, well, first of all, they have me write some brand guidelines, which we'd never had before. We'd never had writing guidelines. This is how to write. This is how anyone in the future who is going to be writing blogs needs to stick to these guidelines. So that was one job.
Yeah.
And then I've got to go through all of those blogs and make them sound human and rewrite them. So the pendulum has swung right back round.
I think with AI, it's becoming, as much as everyone's found useful and they track everything in there, for like proper businesses like that, they're still going to be similar. It's all going to be similar, especially for those kind of companies. If you go, I need a fitness blog about this, someone else asks for a fitness blog about that, you're going to get basically the same answers.
And that's exactly
and
what
people
this
are going to realise,
said.
Google's going to realise, everyone's going to realise, and their businesses are going to look at it and go, that's actually just put us back. As much as you think it's going to help and push forward, you can use it to assist, but if you just do that, you're actually going to put yourself backwards.
Yeah, and that's exactly what this client found when they ran the thing. Exactly
100%.
that. You know, it didn't have a brand voice, it didn't have a unique position, it wasn't really giving any advice that was relevant to what the business sells. So that's what I've now got to go through and do and I do use AI. I use it for business stuff. I don't use it for anything for my job. I certainly don't use it for writing. I don't even use it for, I hear copywriters use it for research and for organising. I don't even use it for that. I just don't. I find it quicker myself. But I do use it. I do have it, but for sort of the back end of running my business, really. Yeah. But no, not for writing. Because it's creative. At the end of the day, even though copywriting is strategic, it is still a creative job, and
it takes the creativity out of it.
It's awful.
Yeah.
And there's all the research about how using AI is kind of rotting our brains, right? It's literally like atrophying our ability to think. So the more you hand the thinking over, the less you'll be able to think.
Yeah.
It's
definitely,
silly.
Definitely.
And, sorry to interrupt, but did you guys see on LinkedIn, it's everywhere, Anthropic, or whoever they're called, they have currently got a job ad out, $400,000 for a head of copy job. So they are paying nearly $500,000 for a copywriter.
Yeah,
for themselves.
That's mad. And I mean, US salaries are always more than UK, but that's
I know,
crazy.
That's still, right?
That's crazy.
That is insane.
For people who have the tool that other people use for copywriting.
Yeah.
That's how much they value a human copywriter. So
yeah. I do think we're going to see more and more like it's almost like artisan bread, like human made things that we're going to want to know is human made, and you'd pay more for it. You want to know
because it's got the thumb dents in it, and
you want it to be. Do you know, I saw someone do a LinkedIn post and they had a spelling mistake in there, and I was like, I wonder if we're going to start almost doing that on purpose to prove that it was human. Like, I don't want it to be grammatically perfect.
People value it more.
Yeah,
it's interesting, but then also lovely that you're able to use it for the business side of things.
Yes,
because actually, obviously, you've been doing this many years, so you know the business side of it now. But actually, that isn't your best skill set. That's not where you best spend your time. So as you say, like outsourcing bits where you can, but actually, if there are things where you can go, do you know what, AI helped me do this. Great example, not a business one. I was on a girls' weekend this weekend, and we'd all, like, I'd been paying for everything, and I said, we'll just split the money at the end. But we'd had the whole, some people had had wine, some hadn't.
I didn't have rice.
I was in the car yesterday driving back, and my friend was driving, and I was like, oh, I've got to sit and work that out. And she was like, well, AI can do that. And I was like, why didn't I think of that? So I did. I just gave, it almost sounded like a maths paper question, the way I'd written it. I was like, so this person had this, this and this. This person had this. How much does everyone pay at the end? But in seconds, it had done it for me. And I was like, actually, do you know what? That's where it's just really handy.
Yeah.
It's really useful. And the same...
It's not affecting anything like that. Like, it's not taking out, it's not going to be the similar, it's just like a bit of helpful. I think it can be good for things like that.
A big calculator, right? Yeah.
And yeah, it does mean that I didn't get to test my mental arithmetic skills, but actually, I'm not too worried. But as you say, other things, you're like, you need to keep those muscles working, like you would really in your body. You
and
stop using them.
creativity, you know, it's such a skill. You know, I'm a big fan of, if someone is writing in any sense in their job, is writing, you know, with a pen and paper every day doing something, whether it's your journal or scribbling, or whether you write rubbish poetry or whatever it is. You have to do something, number one, that is pen and paper, because there's something different about that, but number two, that's just, you know, letting your creativity go. Nothing that's ever going to go to a client, nothing that's ever going to be published anywhere, but just you've got to keep that practice up. So if you don't even do that, you don't even do any writing, it all goes through AI.
Yeah. Where do your best ideas come from?
So I do the whole pen and paper thing when I'm starting with a client. So case in point, I worked recently for a brand called Xenom, who is kind of like if CrossFit and High Rocks had a baby. I don't think they'd like me explaining it that way, but it's an event. It's an event series, right? And that was very early at the launch phase. It's a big startup, very fast moving. So my work with them was kind of both defined, as in these are the outputs we need, but also really broad, because it's like, well, we haven't even held the first event yet, so we're kind of creating this as we go. So it was very creative work, and with that I had a lot of stuff to assimilate from the client to begin with, tone of voice and assets and things, but other than that I was just given the job of coming up with stuff. So I got everything. I didn't quite print it out because I don't have a printer anymore, but I had all my screens with stuff open, and then I just had a big piece of paper and pen, and I just kind of brainstormed. You know, I've got some good reference books about how to write headlines and things like that. There are kind of techniques, you know, do some that rhyme, do some that are alliteration, do some that twist a theme. You know, there's these tools you can use at the beginning to get your creative juices going. But that's kind of what I do at the very beginning of a project, is I just brain dump and get creative. And then, because that first sort of lot of stuff you do is never going to be good. Never. No. But it is going to get the ideas going, and from that you can cross 90% of it out. But if you don't even do that to begin with, if you sit there with a piece of paper going, right, I have to write the thing immediately, that won't be good either. So you have to almost get it all out.
You need the good ideas, the bad ideas. Like whenever we do group brainstorming here, I'm always like, I need your bad idea. Like, please don't be scared to say anything. Just let it come out. Because do you find, is there anything you have to go and do? Like, actually, you said you're a swimmer. I love swimming, and I find, like, if I've kind of had a big busy day, I will go and swim and I process things, and then I wish I had the pad next to the pool sometimes, because I'm like, oh, I now need to go back, and actually I've got more direction on where I should go with that by just almost not thinking about it.
Yeah, I don't swim anymore, but I do Olympic weightlifting now, so I do more weight stuff. So yeah, definitely I do train most days. I would say I do something, and that's not necessarily good for creativity, but it is good for, like you said, for switching off. And I think sometimes when you've been working over a problem or a job in your head, you need to just switch off, and that's often ironically when, so yes, sometimes when I'm walking home, I'm lucky enough to be able to walk to the gym, sometimes when I'm walking home I'll be like, oh yeah great, put it in my phone. And then the other thing is walking the dog. You know, I've got a dog, have to walk at least twice a day. It's a lot of kind of down time, and something about walking and being outside, you know, just that kind of rhythmic thing.
Kind of resets you a little bit. It's a bit of break from everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it is that just stepping away from it allows you to frees your mind to get to the art. I mean, people say the shower, driving, walking, walking the dog for me as well. So you'll hear me quite often around here, because he's not here today, but he'll be here. Sometimes I'm like, I just need to go walk the dog. I'll come back. I can't even answer you. I can't get to an answer. But when I walk the dog, I'm like, and now I've got all the answers.
And that's another good thing about being self-employed, or I guess for you guys at least having the sort of flexibility of working in an agency setting where you can go out for a walk or whatever. it's good to have those routines or those little things that you know will work for you.
Yeah, definitely. Do you do a normal work day as it would be coming to an office, or do you plan your time differently? How do...
I've got an office at home. I mean, it's my spare bedroom, but it is a proper office. It's not like, don't sit on the bed or anything. I remember when I first started working, people said, oh, you work for yourself, in a bit of a judgmental way. I bet you just sit on the sofa all day with the TV on. I was like, no.
It works.
You do understand that this is how I pay my mortgage, right?
Yeah.
Well, why would I do that? It's funny the sort of views people have of people that work for themselves.
Yeah.
So no, I'm in an office. And I broadly work Monday to Friday, 9 to 6-ish, but I try and keep Mondays off. This is quite a new thing I've done. I've kind of earmarked Mondays for no client work. Like, that's why I'm here today on a Monday, right? No client work, no calls, no meetings. So if I'm quiet, then I might do nothing on Monday. I might go out and see friends and have lunch with my sister. If I'm busy, I will still use that Monday for work, but I'll just do business work. Like I'll do my admin, my socials.
Nice.
Because otherwise I find that, the week can go past and you'll have this to-do list. You still won't have done it. And then it's Friday afternoon. So by starting the week with that little pocket of time, kind of ring fence.
That's really nice, actually.
Yeah.
Otherwise it all just gets lost in with each other.
Yeah.
You don't think it's like, oh, that's just a bit of admin, that's fine. Like client work's more important. But no, it's just as important.
Yeah, and it's nice as well to start the week a bit sort of gentler.
Yeah.
Because everyone said to me, oh, yes,
Quite
I do that.
flexible.
I have my Fridays off. I was like, no, that wouldn't work for me. Because it wouldn't, things would kind of bleed over, right? You'd still have work to do on the Friday. So by doing it on a Monday, it's always there. It's protected. It's a nice start to the week. And then by the time it gets to Tuesday, you're like ready to go.
Yeah, yeah. And you feel in control of your week rather than your week happening at you.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the thing in anything, like, because you are running your own little mini agency. You are the agency. You've got clients to keep happy. You've got deadlines happening, etc. And it can feel out of control quite easily when you're like, oh, I've just got all these things to do.
Yeah.
So if you can take that moment to take control and make sure that you've done the things that are important for your business, because as we've said, if you're not working on the future business, you can suddenly get to the future and you're like, I ain't got no work at the moment. I now need to go and do all my marketing, which is going to take another 4 to 6 weeks. And if you've been able to structure your business, because again, another thing I think freelancers can think about is like, how do you make sure you've got some form of recurring work? Because again, that makes life easier instead of having to go feast or famine every project to the next project. So do you have some clients that are on retainers with you? And
not so much retainers as I understand it. I don't think I have what people call retainers, but I have what I call my regulars. And yes, I do. I'm lucky enough to have probably 65% of my income from regulars.
Brilliant.
And obviously they're not locked in, they have to give me 1 month notice if they want to scale up or down, but they could all, touch wood, they could all go tomorrow and that could happen. So they're not locked in as such, but most of them have been with me for 10 years.
Brilliant.
Technogym is one of them.
Yeah.
Right? And the guy with the AI blocks, he's one of them. So yeah, I do not know how freelancers do it with no regulars or no retainer. No. Imagine the start of every month with a zero.
Yeah.
And I haven't done it strategically as such. I wish I could say I have, but it has worked out that my regulars just about cover my baseline salary, like what I need, because I'm single and I live by myself, right? So I know all my bills, all my mortgage, everything is on me. So I know exactly what I need to live. And those regulars just about cover that. So if there's a month when I don't have any other work, it's okay. It wouldn't be okay forever, but it would be okay for a bit. Because I have had those months. So what I try to do is I try to have 1 or 2 what I call one-offs. I call one-offs. They are one-offs.
Which might become regular. Who knows?
Yes.
And I'm sure some of them do.
I've just had one come back.
Nice.
So that's how I try and do it. And it helps as well with working out how much time I've got. Because otherwise, if you had no regulars, you wouldn't know whether you need a big project or 3 little ones. It would just I don't know. I think it would make me panic a bit.
You can organise it properly. You can be like, right, I've got these ones to do then.
Exactly.
So I can take them on. I can do that. If you're unsure, it's like, oh, can I take that on? Do I need to do that on?
And you're waiting. You're like waiting for someone to confirm, and then someone's waiting, and
and then they all want it at once. They're like
they would as well.
It's but I guess also over time you must now just know in your gut how long things are going to take, how to do things. Whereas in the beginning that must be quite tricky as well. well.
I don't even remember at the beginning. Yeah, I think I didn't have as much work then, so I probably just did a thing and then got another thing and just said yes to everything. Yeah, but of course, now I know how long roughly it takes to do a 5-page website or a email sequence or something.
Yeah, no, definitely, because that's hard, isn't it? And I think we see it in the agency as people are more junior. It's like they don't know how to estimate, because most of us are optimistic, so we're like, oh yeah, I could get that done in a couple of hours, and then you're like, oh no, actually now I've started to do it, that's a much bigger thing.
And I think what people perhaps don't realise at the very beginning is it's not just the doing of the work, it's the bit beforehand, which is the briefing call, the research, probably another briefing call because someone else has come on board that apparently needs to talk to you. Then it's the work. Then it's the submitting the work. Then it's having the feedback. Then it's doing edits, and you've got to estimate for 2 rounds of edits just in case, right? Even though it probably won't, So it's all of that. It's not just sitting there. I've done it.
And it's the asking the right questions, because again, the more experience you've got, you realise, if only I'd asked that question, we wouldn't have needed 2 rounds of edits actually, because I could have found that out, and that would have made me do a better job in the first instance, but I didn't know the info, which again, over experience, you're like, you must have your non-negotiables. I need you to tell me these things, otherwise I'm not going to be able to do this work to the standard, and we're going to go back and forth.
And I think questions and listening is a huge sort of almost a hill I'll die on, really, and it's another reason why I am kind of team niche, because I think if you weren't niche, and there's going to be people watching this that aren't niche, that are like, no, I love being a generalist, and I'm sure there's pros and cons, but for me, I can't see why you wouldn't be a specialist, because the more you work for clients in my, the fitness sector, for me, the more, the fewer questions you need to ask anyway, because half of them are kind of lodged in your head already because they're about the sector. But then the more experience you have, the more naturally the questions come, because it's like doing this chat, right? You know what to ask because you've done so many of these chats. So that's another reason why I'm sort of passionately a niche specialist rather than a generalist.
Just a quick note from me. We'd love you to hit the subscribe button. This helps us more than you might realise when it comes to growing this podcast, ensuring we can bring you the best guests possible. Thank you. Back to the episode. And do you get clients giving you feedback in the form of how well things have performed and data? And
sometimes I wish more. And that's why I love doing email, because email has all those stats. That's why things like posters, you can't really, unless it's a QR code, you can't tell, can you? I do always ask, and I love it when they tell me, but sometimes they don't know, sometimes they just go AWOL and they don't get back to you because they're, a one-off client. But yes, I do always ask.
Yeah, because it's important. And I suppose that's where, to me, as much as day-to-day your job is the copywriting, you are in digital. There is this digital feedback that can come from it of if you've done your job well, the place it's going to get put. And if you've been able to, and it's not always down to you, it's down to how well the client knows their audience and gives you the right brief,
It's down to a lot of things,
Like, I'm sure you do the copywriting piece really well every single time, but actually the context around that as to whether it's going to be successful or not.
It even comes down to design and SEO. Obviously, when it's let's say it's a fairly typical but big project of a launch of a thing, there's going to be the landing page. Well, first of all, there's how do they get to the landing page? So there's the socials or the lead magnet, or however we're grabbing that email. Then where are we driving them to? So there's that page. Then there's what happens, where do they go off to once they've clicked on that page? Then there's the emails they get. It's all of that, and that's not even taking into account what's the reputation or whatever of the brand or offer or personal trainer or coach. So there's only so much copy can do.
Definitely. And there's a lot of influences in the fitness space. I think probably along with home improvement, I'd say they're the two where I just see such a huge, vast array of influencers from everyone from, in sport to from your
run influencers.
The people that are literally on our TVs at the moment in the World Cup, for example, that kind of thing. They're all influenced through to your local person that's doing it and has got a really niche following for whatever it is that they're doing. Like it's just such a huge landscape.
Quite a lot of not so good,
a lot of dodgy stuff. Which is just and actually in the fitness and wellness space, it's pretty scary because giving bad advice there is
it's really be detrimental to people because people trust anything they see, really.
Different when it's down to, like, if I use home improvement, it's like,
what colour do you want to paint your wall?
You might decorate your room the wrong colour, nothing bad's going to happen, but actually taking the wrong advice on diet, and actually the body image that can come off the back of things and how people feel about that, like it's all of that's
coming back round, isn't it?
And it's really important that that's done with care and compassion and helping people to see what's in their control to understand and do. And
that's why I like copywriting, because at the end of the day, ultimately, yes, it's selling stuff, or it's helping your clients sell stuff or influence people to do stuff. So in that sense, you can think, it's not an unethical job, copywriting, but it's a sales job, it's an influencing job. But it depends what you're influencing them to do. If you're influencing them to buy some dodgy product, of course it's not good. But if you're influencing them to make a choice about messaging that's better for their health or whatever, then it's a great job, you know, along with all the other people in the team that are getting that message out there. That's why I like
definitely. We've got a client that we've had probably, I think, for about 10 years that's in the Pilates space. She runs a studio, but actually, we do a lot of PR with her, and she's across so many different topics, which is where it all comes back down to health, posture, how you look after your body, etc., the mental benefits of working out, etc. And it's just so interesting how it is, because the body is part of everything and the mind and body come together. It's just there's a space for it everywhere.
There is.
It's a good niche that you've picked
there. I love it. I really enjoy it.
I really enjoy it. So I guess thinking about being in Bella's shoes, 16, 17, like, what do you wish you'd known then that you know now?
Blimey. I was saying to Amy in the tea room, this is a funny day, or a good day for me to be doing this, because my nephew, I've only got one nephew, one sister, one nephew, he is currently doing his final GCSE. I appreciate it's a couple of years before you, but what funny timing that I'm here talking to young people about careers on the day that he is
doing his
leaving school. He's going back, but to make it a better story, he is going to sixth form. He's doing similar topics to you, actually. So what do I wish I had known? I mean, goodness me, it feels like a long time ago. And like you asked me at the beginning, I would always have gone to university anyway, I think, just because I was quite an academic, bookish person, and I think I would have always wanted to have extra time in academia just because I loved it. I guess, I mean, it's always useful to have mentors and stuff modelled to you, isn't it? That's so important at every age, but especially when you're young and at the start of your career, kind of the more mentoring and the more examples you have, the better, because then you get to know what's out there. So it would have been great for me to have known that copywriting was a thing. I knew that journalism was a thing. I did my work experience at the local paper. But I do remember at the very start of my copywriting sort of pivot, a lady that I knew just randomly through a running club, she said, I used to be a copywriter. I had no idea. And she very low level mentored me, but the stuff she said to me, I still remember it. And it wasn't anything groundbreaking, but it was so useful. She's the only person that's told me that stuff, right?
Amazing. And that came from a conversation while you were doing something else that you're passionate about, of someone that's in your network.
Although actually that sparked a good point, which I think is useful. That only came about, presumably, I don't remember, because I talked about what I was doing, and I do that a lot. So I think probably my best bit of advice to a young person would be, if you have any inkling that you know what you want to do, or what path, or even what subjects you're interested in, just network. I mean, you're not going to call it networking. Talk to people. That's all networking is. Talk to people. And I say it a lot. I get a lot of emails going, I would like to be a fitness copywriter. Have you got any advice? And I'm always like, I'll help anyone, but please make your questions more specific, because, and my first advice is get out from behind your computer, get out from behind your socials, because they're absolutely useful. Of course they are. You can't be without them. You've got to get out there, especially if you want to be team niche like me. You've got to go where your clients are. You've got to go to sector events, industry events, and just talk to people. Because if you're interested in what you do, and if you're interested in what they do, they're never going to mind you talking to them. They're going to love it. So don't be shy. Just talk, and it won't take long until you have built up that network, and until you will walk in a room and people go, oh, it's Nicola, come over. Have you met Nicola? Da, da, da. Yeah. And that's how a career in a sector grows, really, isn't it? It's not never really one thing. It's just conversations and talking.
And you probably don't even notice it, that first event you go to where you are recognised and you are not in the room hoping to make contacts, but they're in the room hoping to speak to you, and you don't necessarily notice that change unless you step back and think about it.
Exactly.
But that's brilliant. Like that's where then work will keep knocking on your door, because people will be talking about you.
Exactly. That's when the work does start chasing you to an extent, because you're known, but you're also known for being good, and the proof is there as well. You've got proof of concept. Well, she must be good because so and so used her for that, and they're happy to introduce her to me.
Yeah.
And you want to be known as like a friendly person that's easy approachable. If someone says, oh, this person was so easy to work with, like easily contactable, all this and the other, which you get from just having conversations, you don't get that from an email. You can't put your personality through an email as much as you can a conversation in person. You're not going to get memorised that way.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what another bit of advice I give to people is the bar is actually lower than you think. If if anyone's watching this thinking, oh, I would love to be a fitness copywriter, but there's so many out there, the market's saturated. It is by not very good people. The bar is quite low. To be, halfway up, 50% or whatever, all you have to be good at your job, good to work with, exactly like you just said, reliable, and just do what you say you're going to do. You would be amazed the amount of, especially freelancers, who don't. And I've been told this by clients. Oh, I was working with a freelancer, but they've gone AWOL. I haven't heard from them for 3 weeks. I mean, it's a low bar, right? So be good at what you do, be approachable, respond when they get in touch with you, and be a nice person to work with.
Be reliable.
And just make their life easy, right?
Yeah.
And you'll be up there in the top 10%.
Yeah. It's those dodgy freelancers that do go AWOL that then give freelancers a bad name.
I think so.
Like we hear it in the agency world of people saying, oh, I was working with someone and they just disappeared. And you're like, oh. But then also part of me goes, I hope they're all right. Like, what has happened? Like,
sure,
I'm such an empathetic person.
Yeah.
Like, but normally it is just that actually they've taken on too much.
It's
they don't
nuts,
know how to communicate. They're like, oh, I'll wait till I've finished it and then I'll pop back up. And it's like, but actually you've just burnt a relationship.
I do all sorts of things which are kind of over and above, but they really don't take long. Like I send Christmas presents. I send literal, not just cards. I send nothing expensive, but I send a thing by post to any client I've worked with that year. Yes, it does take me a bit of time and obviously a bit of money, but it goes through the business, so it doesn't matter. Would it be easier if I didn't do it? Sure, but would it?
It's just not. The reputation you want to give off.
Exactly, it's not the reputation I want to give off. Also, I just like giving presents in real life, so why wouldn't I like it as a business owner? For example, big clients that I've had before, when they've had a baby, I've sent a thing, through for mum and baby, like meals, that kind of thing. Just if you want to be remembered, and it's not, I'm making it sound manipulative, like do this so they think you're that. It's got to be genuine, but if you are a thoughtful, pleasant, nice person to work with, then be that in your business as well. And then when it comes to it, you'll be top of mind, and naturally they'll be like, well, let's at least ask them to give us a quote, because I at least know they're easy to work with.
It shows that you're present for your clients and that you're there and you actually listen and you take care of them and you know that you'll be there.
Well, the most important thing for memory formation is making people feel something. So actually, by doing those little extras, those moments where you can make someone really feel something, that stands out. That is. And then you want them to be, next time they're at a networking event and someone says, oh, do you know any good copywriters? You want them rushing, going, yeah, I do. I need to give you Nicola's details. Like, don't even talk to anyone else. She's your lady.
If I got a little gift for like Christmas from someone I'd hired or whatever, I'd really appreciate it. It really sticks with you. We do a mix of things, but the thing that we do that goes to a wider audience, we do advent calendars, and we do it chocolate ones, so that they get it on their desk for the whole of the month. They remember it, and actually when we send them out to people, we've had work off the back of it, because they send the thank you note and they're like,
oh, it'd be good to catch up actually. And you're like, that's brilliant when a client says it'd be good to catch up versus me saying it'd be good to, of course I want to catch up because I'd like to.
Great Christmas idea. I might steal that, because then it's stuck on their desk for 21 days or whatever, and having come.
I always try and think, how can you like have something that lasts a bit longer or is a bit different. Like there was a time where you'd go to an event and everyone was giving out a USB stick. Like we don't really use them anymore, do we? But like everyone always the same thing. So it's like, how do we have something different? But I love
that. People were really trying to do that. I went to like a uni open day, and every single thing, like loads of the stalls had sunglasses or inflatable like footballs, anything just to try. Because and then people walked around with them, and then someone went, where'd you get those glasses from? People went to those stalls. It is things like that where it's like it's such small things that you just make you recognisable.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Is there anything else that you haven't asked that you want to know?
Well, I just wanted advice, really. I think you've given so much advice.
Oh, good.
Yeah, just how have you really got through like difficult times? What has kind of kept you more motivated to keep going?
Well, I'm not sure anything's kept me motivated. Well, it must have done because I'm still here. But there have, like last year, honestly, between probably October last year and February or March of this year was the worst. And this is not just me. Yeah. If it wasn't for those regulars, there were probably 2 or 3 months where I didn't have any other work other than those regulars.
Wow.
And that's after 22 years or whatever it is. And I think it was a mix of things. I had a difficult month or two before that, and exactly like you said, the knock-on effect came, and I was like, that's because of that. But it was nothing I could have done anything about. Also, I just think the markets and economy and all sorts of global things.
Just got to prepare for it, I guess.
Yeah, and I've been around long enough to know that it does always come and go. And my family were like, "Oh, this always happens. It is going to come around." I was like, "Yeah, I know it always happens, but not always this bad."
Yeah.
And also, what if it doesn't? Because hindsight's a great thing. It's happened. It's fine. Yeah. But I didn't know that at the time. I was like, well, what if it doesn't? What if this is just a slow decline? So I do share and vent with people. Like I walk with my sister every week, and she's self-employed too, so we have our little venting session, and we help each other, we give each other ideas, and we sort of pep each other up. So we have our little weekly pep talk, which is important. I do the same with other copywriters as well, not many, but I do have a little group of people that I think it's just useful to sense check, like, is this just me? And it's like, no, it's them as well. That's not good for anybody, but at least it's not just me, And then I just got proactive. I got seriously proactive. Like, I sorted out my lead magnet. I sorted out my email autoresponding on my website. I got back on LinkedIn because I hadn't been doing that, and that's kind of a no-brainer, right? And I just, it didn't work immediately, but I was like, I've got to do something because, even if it doesn't work, at least I've used the time for something. And I cut back on outgoings, all the things that you would do, sort of cut back on outgoings. Went really hard on outreach and marketing. And I contacted all my old clients, just all those things that are hard to do, but they're so obvious. Like, just go really back through all your old clients. Ask all my regulars, is there anything else I can do? I was honest with people that I have that relationship with. I was honest. I was like, look, I could really do with some more work. If you ever need anything, think of me first.
Or if you've got any recommendations.
All of that. So it's just, you can't be shy.
And you can't wallow, can you? You can take a day or two if you want to just be a bit sad, open a bottle of wine, be a bit annoyed that it's happening, but it's...
Do it over a weekend and then get back to it.
You've got to pull your socks up and get on with it, because that isn't going to fix it. No. You being proactive is going to fix it.
I think especially when you're by yourself like I am, like, there's no one coming to save you, that's it. I've got to pay my bills, so that's it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Really good advice.
Yeah.
And it does, you'll have seen it over the last 22 years. We've been running this business 15 years, like peaks and troughs.
Yeah, massively.
It's never, and to be honest, it'd be boring if it was just literally flatline the whole time.
It would.
You learn so much about yourself, the business, in the hard times that you can apply back in the good times as well. Like,
it would just be nice to know that at the time, right? Not to have to wait for hindsight.
I always say with COVID, I wish I'd had a crystal ball, because in those first couple of weeks of COVID, when we had the most beautiful weather, me and my business partner were literally in panic stations trying to work out how we were going to save our business, as like I think 60-70% of our revenue got paused over a week or two. Wow. And we had a team of 35 people to look after. So we were like panicking, but actually after probably 2 months, everyone moved all their budget into digital, and we went on to have this incredible year. And we're always like, I wish we'd had that crystal ball, because we could have just gone and sunbathed in the garden like everyone else was doing.
It was the same with the fitness sector. I distinctly remember the days that gyms were closed. The day that gyms were closed. Do you remember? It was one of the stages of COVID and lockdown. Literally, gyms overnight were you're shut. So of course I was there going,
that's my business.
That's a lot of my business, and if it's not my business, it's my client's business. You know, the gym, the physical bricks and mortar facility is kind of at the hub of this sector, right? So I sat there going, what does that mean for me?
Yeah.
But I did the same. I reached out to all my clients and I sent them, and it wasn't strategic at all. It was just like, how are you? Like, is this awful? How are you doing? It wasn't at all strategic, like, and if I can help. It was just like, I'm thinking of you. But then, same as you said, within a few months, everyone moved online.
Yeah.
All the personal trainers, they couldn't personal train anymore, but what they could do is hybrid or online. And all the gyms, they started pushing out digital or in-app offers, you know. So actually, it kind of revolutionised the industry in a bit. Wish I'd known at the time. Would have been a bit nicer.
Just need to take a deep breath.
Yeah. But then also, the longer you go on in business, the more you can go, I do know, like, I can't see how this is going to be all right just now, but I know it will. Like, there is always a way. And when you're a smart, great person, like, you're going to find a way.
Yeah, and I do know that, but also it's
hard to see that.
And it's okay if that's hard to see. You know, it's okay if you're not this really relentlessly positive, upbeat, something will come. It's okay to be like, I'm really worried.
Yeah.
Because that's what self-employment is, not being worried, but, you know, self-employment is being self-employed. If you don't want that, that's also okay, but go and get an in-house job. It depends what you want. I don't want some of the things that come with an in-house job. Yeah. So I choose to have the things that I don't particularly want with a self-employed job either. It's just you choose what type of lifestyle and risk and headache you want, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
There's always something, unless you win the lottery.
Yeah.
Which I haven't.
No.
I don't play it, so.
No, neither do I. But it would be nice, wouldn't it? Fine. This has been brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been lovely.
I feel like we've dived into niches, to self-employment, to copywriting in general, and actually, like, it's been really, really good.
It's been so helpful. Thank you so much.
Yeah. No worries. Feel free to tag me, whatever you do, and people can come and find me if they want to chat anymore.
Yeah, we absolutely will, and we will send you content that you can share as well.
Yes.
So, just thank you so much for your time.
Thank
you for your wonderful questions.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
And thank you to our wonderful audience for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you again on another episode of Behind the Future. That concludes another brilliant episode of Behind the Future. Thank you so much for listening. You can listen back to other episodes on YouTube or your podcast platform of choice. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, as that will help us to grow this podcast, ensuring we can get the best guests on here for you to learn from. You can also follow us on socials, linked in the show notes for exclusive content. See you on the next episode.